And welcome back, everybody. Uh, Not outside this weekend because I'm recovering from an illness or a cold or whatever. So I thought I'd work on the trains a bit. Still trying to attack these signals. I have my, Raspberry Pi with Panel Pro. I can't open Decoder Pro. It looks like something's wrong with that. But anyway, last couple weekends I've been trying non-successfully to get the Signalman operating. I have the RR Circuits SSB gateway and the local buffer USB. Excuse me. So I'm having a couple issues. Symptoms at the very least. So this one, I addressed it as they recommend. This one's like 10,001. This one's just 10,000. The 10,001, each of these has a turnout address to drive the signal. I have two Sunrise Enterprises signals hooked up to it. They are 2-wire bi-LED, so bicolor LED, and I've wired them up in different various forms and whatever, and they just don't light up. Like, the light doesn't come on. I tested with the Team Digital. LEDs work. LEDs work great. I do have them painted, by the way, so at least we got that done. That was fun. So when that didn't work, I'm trying the BLMA, which I know I've seen people get to work, and I'm still having the same issue, where, I do the turnout address just as the instructions say, and the LEDs just don't power on. Now, the information I have is you don't need to put resistors in. I have it on like level 25. Again, the LEDs still work, so I'm not sure, honestly. Since I can't get Decoder Pro to work on my Raspberry Pi, like when I click on it, it just comes up with a little JMRI screen, the first initial one with the logo, it just hangs there. So when I do an execute in terminal, it says there's an error exception or an exception unhandled, and the program just stalls out. Anyway, so I've been programming these on my MacBook Pro, and what's interesting is every time I power cycle, it almost seems like these lose their configuration, or they just don't save after a power loss of an extended amount of time. So I can program them like from factory default, and I've checked the jumpers and everything, and today I've left it off for 24 hours, turned it back on, and I haven't hooked it up back to Decoder Pro, but I don't know if you can, it's very hard to tell. That little blinky light is reddish in color, and it says LN, so I'm assuming that stands for LocoNet. So it's receiving the good grief, excuse me. It's receiving LocoNet commands from JMRI, but I mean nothing's happening to the LED. So I might have to write to the owner and figure out what the heck I'm doing wrong. I thought the jumpers were all correct. I've tried common anode and common cathode. When I did power cycle this yesterday and hook it back up to JMRI, it didn't have, when I open up Decoder Pro, do a new loco, RR Circuits, Signalman, there's a couple things. One is every single time I power cycle everything, it's like this doesn't have a configuration. Like I read the CVs and the settings and it comes up with the factory default. But it's not factory default here because obviously it's responding to the switch commands. So one, that's weird. The second thing is when I do when I go to the Signalman tab in Decoder Pro, you're supposed to read the CVs and it says error, board ID is not 21, this may not be a Signalman. And that, happens with both of these. So I'm wondering, and it says check the versions, make sure JMRI is at least like version 4 and the other thing's version 4, which it is. Everything's in spec. But these, at least according to my Linux-based and Mac-based JMRIs aren't Signalmen. it can configure them, but I don't know. So I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. Literally, the only thing I have not tried yet is finding a Windows machine and trying to program these with that, with JMRI on Windows. So I might do that next, because I'm kind of running out of ideas. Fortunately, I have a lot of patience, and I'm not too frustrated yet. Surely, there's some simple explanation. I highly doubt I have two defective signalmen. I don't even know if this was defective, if this would even get configured or anything. So, and yes, I'm programming it in ops mode via Loconet JMRI. I literally do what the instructions say, and I just get nothing. And I mean, so I'm more familiar with how to configure it. That was definitely one hill to climb, just trying to, because you gotta CV everything. So I guess maybe I'm missing some CVs, maybe I missed a step, I don't know. I've tried, reading all CVs, changing them, writing all CVs, and then reading them again, and it's back to factory default, and it's just like, good grief. So, yeah, that's that. I guess that's what I'm gonna do next, is try and get a Windows machine and do it that way. I mean, it would... Hello everyone, back here with JMRI and my Signalman. And I'm pretty much at the exact same place as I was with either of the Linux machines. I click here, Loconet little thing, it blinks away, but the signal mask doesn't do a thing. I've already checked that, it's head 1, lunar, red, yellow, green, common. The only thing I haven't tried is just hooking up to the rest of these and see if anything happens. I have found that when I unplug the RR Circuits SSB gateway and then plug it back in, you can kind of see we get a quick little flash of the LEDs on the signal, but that's about it, so I don't know. I'm lost. So yeah, my next thing will be to email RR Circuits and probably wait a week to hear back. I don't know. I've never had to email them, so we'll see how that goes. But one thing is when I do Signalman, it says, JMRI 7 or 372 later is required. Well, this is JMRI 4 point whatever. Master mode is no. Ops mode is enabled. And then it says, warning, bad hardware ID, 21 required. Read full sheet to update. Warning, this may not be a Signalman, so if I do a read full sheet, it works, and well, shoot. No changes. Makes me sad. The only other thing is it says this is on the programming track. I have it where there is no service mode programmer available. Loconet is online. So, yeah, I have no idea. Any suggestions will be welcome.